energy, I'm never signing out. Throw my elbows up and my money out. Yeah.
Rockin'.
Catch me in the pit. I'm breaking necks and I'm wilding out. Reckless energy, I'm never signing out. Throw my elbows up and my money out. Okay.
What's good, everyone? Just getting after it for another early morning. You know what it is. I hope all you guys out there are continuing on this mission, creating better humans to give back to your dogs and better individuals to be able to give back to your family units. Now, I wanted to speak to you about self-awareness and the importance that this has when we attach it to our own internal narrative. We need to understand the importance of this so that we know how to condition our own minds. We can rewire our own minds based upon the way society has conditioned our minds. Because the way we've conditioned our minds through society and through this crazy world that we live in is to play that blame game, to point the finger, no accountability. You see the resemblance? And this is something that I've learned through dogs, because I see so many people pointing the finger at the issues with their animals instead of being able to look at themselves, take accountability behind their own practice, take accountability behind the way that they conduct themselves from a day-to-day basis. Everyone thinks it's a training issue. Everyone thinks my dog needs more training. The dog don't need training. It's the human that needs training. The human needs to know how to conduct themselves in a manner so that the dog respects their guidance and direction, so that the dog has faith and trust within their leadership. Sit, drop and stay is education to the dog. But ask yourself, just because you're highly educated as a human, does that mean you're mentally stable? Training issues and behavioral issues are two different things. You will not fix a psychological issue through training. It's like saying that you're going to fix a psychological and behavioral issue within yourself through education. If you're depressed, if you're riddled with anxiety, does that mean you understanding mathematics or you getting a higher education in whatever area you want, does that mean it's going to fix that issue? Not at all. So when we can have that self-awareness attached to our own internal narrative, what do you think this is going to be able to give us? It's going to give us self-clarity. It's going to give us the ability to identify our own instabilities, our own red flags, where we need work, where we need to be able to create more awareness. You You see the resemblance here, where I'm going with this. It's going to give you the ability to build your own self-esteem because you have the ability to keep it real with yourself instead of continuously negotiating and rationalizing with all your excuses and the reasons why you're the special reason to be let off the hook instead of taking ownership within your own actions and giving yourself direct consequences due to your instabilities and your shortcomings and the excuses to why you don't want to do X, Y, and Z, when in reality you should just be bearing the weight of your own day-to-day responsibilities. Again, back to those similarities. The similarities within all these different issues that all these individuals share, that all suffer with that lack of clarity, with that lack of self-belief, that lack of conviction in who they are. So they live their existence justifying their own insecurities because they don't want to take ownership in their own doing. Again, you see the connections here? See the way you connect the dots? These people riddled with all these different issues all have similarities within these areas. They run away from bearing their own weight. They run away from that accountability. They live their lives justifying and rationalizing with their excuses, ignoring their own red flags. Once again, when we can have self-awareness over what our self-talk is, we can condition our mind to push the trajectory of our own life to be one of benefit, to be one of positivity. When we start to adopt responsibility in these areas, you're going to find meaning. You're going to find purpose within your own existence. You start creating a competent individual. You start creating an individual that has a strong sense and a real sense of your own self-belief. Again, that pushes into that conviction in who you are. So when we can realize this, we can keep ourselves motivated when we're lacking motivation. We can keep ourselves disciplined when we're lacking discipline, because it goes back into giving yourself purpose and meaning because you've adopted responsibility into your own life. And self-awareness over your own self-talk is going to clear this up. Because how are you ever supposed to attain this if you allow your self-talk to call yourself a bitch, call yourself a pussy, think of yourself as weak? It's all there. But it takes that responsibility and it takes that accountability to be able to create that self-awareness of it. And to be able to change the direction of your self-talk into something positive. Again, not to go off topic, but this is an easy example. I'll use myself. Imagine me having that negative self-talk. Imagine me thinking to myself, oh, this is difficult. I have to face a whole set of challenges because it's hard for me to do weights, because for you guys that didn't know, I'm missing half my arm. Or I don't have my arm there. I can't pick up a dumbbell. I can't use the cable machines properly. I can't do my rowing movements properly. I can't train back properly because I only have one arm. A lot of you cunts out there with a complete body that justify and rationalize all your fucking excuses. All this, all that. What do you think that self-talk's doing to you? You're conditioning your mind to look at yourself as a fucking bitch. You know it's weak. You know you're living behind excuses. You know you're rationalizing fucking bullshit. What the fuck is your excuse? Look at me, I'll fucking get after it. Incomplete body and all. Fucking represent the stumpy side. Fucking what? Pretty self-explanatory. Now imagine if I had that same self-talk that half of you cunts out there have. We all know individuals that have that self-talk. And we all know that it's rationalizing with bullshit. If I had that self-talk, how am I supposed to move around the weight that I move around? How am I supposed to throw up those digits? How am I supposed to push that weight that I push? Have a think about it. The self-talk is different, so it creates self-belief. That self-belief creates conviction in who I am and what I stand for, because it correlates within every area of my life. This is why I say, have self-awareness attached to your own internal narrative. This is why I say, it can change your life, it can change the trajectory of where your life is heading. Your belief in who you are as an individual and what you stand for. Because it keeps on continuing to move from point to point, and eventually you're going to find purpose, you're going to find meaning in who you are. This is what's going to give you the ability to be able to stand for something, because you're not letting yourself off the hook every single time. You're not rationalizing and negotiating once again with all your instabilities of, oh, this is hard, or I feel upset around this, or I feel funny around that, blah, blah, blah. You're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. And your comfort zone is where your dreams go to die. Your comfort zone is where you go to die. Your comfort zone is where you become that half-assed, sloppy-ass version of yourself, where you become so introverted that you don't even put yourself out there in the world anymore. We're not solitary creatures, we're social creatures. And I say this being quite an introverted individual myself. I love my own space. I love having time to myself. I've got a small circle around me. I love that time with my dogs. That's my happy place. That's my place where I go to decompress. I train on my own. I don't need training partners. I get after it within my own household. I know how to motivate myself. I know how to discipline myself. These are all things that come from my own internal self-talk. This is the message that I'm trying to help you guys and share with you guys. And considering that we must create competence within who we are as an individual to be able to create that faith and trust within our guidance and direction, to create that faith and trust within our leadership for our dogs, for our families. I thought this would be a great message to be able to share with you guys. Now for the rest of the video, I'm going to show you some of my squats, I'm going to show you some of my deadlifts, trap bar deadlifts I should say, you know, getting after it, moving some heavy weight. I hope that can motivate you to continue on this journey, creating better individuals and better humans to give back to your dogs and your family units. Peace.